Wait to see how that one goes down. Just reflecting on that second semi a little bit as we get ready to start the swimming's final. There's a lot of tension here, right? Just on the beach, just a quite big crowd. Feels like half of Ochoa is down here off the surf crew. And one of those kind of almost like those kind of split packs, you know, with Gassian, obviously a lot of friends around here. Joanne grew up in this part of the world and knows a lot of people as well. And it was pretty tense down on the beach. There wasn't a load of noise going on, but everyone very much just watching that closely. And it just kind of gave us sort of an extra sense of sort of how crucial it is at this stage to make the final in a QS 3000.
Yeah, especially with the family, the coaches, the different gangs, and they you know, 20, 30 meters apart. I mean, they're good friends, but you know, when in time comes to finals, you know, there's no friendship anymore. You know, it's they building that bubble. They're giving the last instruction, shouting or waving the boards for situation and positioning. So obviously as much tension in the water than on the beach. You're no stranger to this. Romain, as you're coaching a lot of guys and girls on tour, so it's you know, tension for all the teams.
Yes, definitely. And I can tell you the men's final is going to be really intense on the beach and in the water. As we saw one wave already with Yolanda Hopkins opening this final.
Yeah, Yolanda, no real surprise there that she got the first wave of this final. Let's break it down. She goes on the rail. Not a great opening wave, but a reasonable one to get on the board.
Not bad.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Not bad, you know, to gain a bit of confidence. She looks really eased. She's in form. She's going to be really tough to beat, I think. She's the powerhouse surfer of this heat. Let's see if Ariane on her backhand can maybe verticalize a little bit more her turns than Yolanda. It's going to make maybe the difference.
So knowing, we kind of think we know what we're going to get from Yolanda Hopkins. We're expecting a high wave count, a lot of maneuvers packed in on those waves, that kind of just relentless aggression. What's Ariane Ochoa? What does she need to do? Like we mentioned that she got a quick start in the previous heat. Obviously, she'd hope for something like that. But in terms of her on-wave surfing, she needs to find the juiciest sections, right? Well, let's see exactly what she can do as we're watching live action here. And she'll go a little late and not super convincing into her first turn. So advantage just from the opening exchange will be with the Portuguese surfer.
Yeah, she needs to find, I reckon, those set waves to be able to wrap that turn. We saw her digging the rail. She needs, you know, to be on the right timing and just unload her backhand attack. As we saw a little bit Joanne against Gassien. She needs to be patient, find that set wave, and hopefully get a big turn or a couple of big turns in to increase her, you know, to get the scores. But obviously with Yolanda Hopkins on the tail, it's going to be a hard one.
It's a little bit of a rematch of what we saw on the previous hit with Joanne and Gassien. You know, on your backhand, it's a little bit tough to surf those smaller waves. So maybe she'll need to wait for those bombs, those higher waves, to gain more speed from the beginning of the wave to tag a few higher turns.
Feels like with this lower tide, we've got that sort of sucky section towards the dig there, towards the jetty, and certainly on the backhand, that's a real tight kind of opening sort of speed run to be able to make, to find yourself out on the face. Well, surfers by now will have had, well, surfed numerous heats out on this. They'll have a really good read on the bank. And essentially, it is a game of wave selection. You get yourself into the final, you know you've got the surf skills, you've got the talent, you've had the preparation, your equipment's dialed in, all of those have been ticked off. You need to find two good waves.
Yeah, two good waves, and it's getting a bit slower. First scores, you know, are 1 point for Ariane and 3.17 for Yolanda, but a bit more on the horizon with priority for Yolanda. That's a good-looking wave for the Portuguese. See what she does there. Big first turn. Ooh, that's looking good for, you know, the first probably mid to higher mid-range score. So good wave selection. She's been patient, and with 25 minutes remaining, that could be the first, score of importance. With the aerial view, tagging, that strong turn, second turn. So definitely, could be a keeper. Good check turn, and probably, the best term of the ride there. Unfortunately, no inside to get a third turn in.
Not an easy way to surf. When it stood up, we thought, okay, here we go, game on here, but didn't have much of a pocket on it. She managed to stay in that pocket. Whoa, that was nice. Ochoa with an immediate reply, and how dearly she would have loved the second section. Just the one tight turn. Good number in for Hopkins, gets a 6.17. So surfing super tight in the pocket and already applying heaps of pressure onto Ochoa.
Yeah, I think it's much more difficult to surf on your forehand than on your backhand in those type of conditions, because you can tag really strong turns on your forehand, as we saw here. Ariane Ochoa tagging a pretty nice vertical turn, much more easier on your backhand. But what impressed me from the previous wave of Yolanda is the speed she carried all the way through the wave, and she managed to combo 2 turns without any loss of control, and it was really impressive from her.
We saw her watching Ariane wave paddling back out, anxious look. Is she gonna get that second turn? Ooh, no, she didn't. So she's in the lead with priority. So far, all good for Yolanda, but still early days. 30 minutes final, but great surfing from both of the girls, and Yolanda a bit deep there, but just maybe using that priority a bit too early, but
yeah, a little over-exuberant there. Yeah. Was behind the section and unable to add much. She'll surrender priority. Ochoa now with a chance to come back here. We'll just get another look at that, and you can see she having a little look around, and she knew this section was already kind of dropping, but she was kind of committed at that point. Flicks in a quick maneuver. Ochoa now out in the lineup. She'll feel a little bit better after a previous effort, but still was only a 3.5, so she needs quite a bit more where that came from. First turn was really, really nice. She does need a wave with another section, and getting those 2-turn combinations in, it sounds easy when you're from here, and you just need to find a section, do 3 turns. But when you're out in the water and the waves are small and running pretty quick, and also going soft pretty quick, it's actually fairly tricky to do. She did that really well in the first semi-final, which she dominated from the start against a very highly rated Israeli. Meanwhile, Hopkins might have a sniff here. Here goes Yolanda, up and swinging, building up speed, and then pushes. Wow, it was nice. Started off as a foam climb, put the board through the lip.
She's such a fighter. How much energy did she give?
Not much of a wave. We've seen so much of a repertoire as well. She's done like most of the different maneuvers you can, or attempted them, you can do without doing any airs yet. But she's basically showed us a little bit of everything. Such a well-rounded surfer.
She knows how to show the variety. She's not afraid to go on different kind of maneuvers, and she's really fun to watch.
Definitely, yeah. Ariane needs to be patient now. It's gonna come down to a set wave with enough face to go vertical, because on the smaller wave, those fast wave, she's gonna put her board too flat to get like the a score above the 5. So anything with a nicer, more opening face, she'll be able to get more vertical, and that's the only way she can get ahead of Hopkins.
Yeah, I like that point. You think the score already from Yolanda got the 6.17. She's going to also improve her backup, even if, by her own standards, she's going to get a high 4 or a 5 or something like that, put on 11 points at least in this heat. So what does that mean for Ariane? She needs a couple of high 5s, essentially, minimum, to have any chance of winning this. And to get that, if she's just taken off on these waves that are dying out and just doing a dying turn on a wave on the end of the whitewater. She's going to stay in the threes, essentially. So patience is key. And another one of those things, it's very easy from up here to go, hey, you've got to be patient when you're out in the water. The heart's going, the blood's pumping. You just want to surf. And it's a lot of that mental game comes into play too.
Yeah, it's the expanding time, you know, when you're in the lead, that clock is like slowing down, you know, it can be cruel. And when you're not in the lead, it's just like that time is flying. So, you know, it's a difficult times. That pressure, we were talking about a long week of surfing contest, and you know they had to paddle, you know, the physical, you know, the energy they used yesterday in those testing conditions. But how's the, you know, the mental, you know, playing into you know, the tiredness factor, you know, like surfing, intense heat, it just draws you know, a lot of energy out of you.
And you see those guys when they come out from the water, they're like super focused, still in the game. They don't want to show too much the emotions. They try to save as much energy as they can. It's part of the game, of course. It's a huge part of the game because all those surfers are pretty nice surfers technically. I mean, but then the mental game makes the difference, of course. And I think Yolanda is the one really dangerous in this heat because she can score on a bit anything. Ariane has a different type of strategy. She needs to wait for those good ones. And if Yolanda gets this into her mind, she knows how to block also Ariane. She will wait for those good ones and maybe you see, take those ones from Ariane. Instead of Ariane, she has no choice. She has to wait for those good ones.
That's exactly what's happening. And her priority, she's paddling on pretty much every single wave that comes through the lineup, keeping busy, using all that piece of energy because that's the last heat of the day for her. So you might as well put it all on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. A really interesting final, the way it's set up already, and the contrasting sort of positions of our two surfers and how that plays into the tactics. And, you know, you talk about the role of coaching, and it's really big these days, and people like to start with a plan and a strategy, and you go through, you got it all dialed out in your head. Sometimes you get in the water, things change pretty quick. You've also got to be able to do a bit of thinking on your feet, so to speak. Sometimes that plan needs to go out the window, and you've got to just kind of surf on instinct. And we do see some surfers able, when they're back against the ropes a little bit, to kind of formulate their own plan, and others spend a lot of time kind of looking back at the beach and just looking a little bit out of sorts, like, what do I do next? Like, once again, it's very easy for me to just go, just got to go out and get 2 10s, basically. I mean, it's as simple as that, your strategy, but very much a different story in the water.
Oh, it's so tough. Sometimes you have to trust also the surfer because if he feels he needs to go there and not here, you have to trust him because, as you said, the instinct sometimes can't explain something that your eyes are seeing, as we see Ochoa riding this one, but not a good pick. So it's a tough job, honestly, to coach those surfers. Wow.
Great looking wave for Hopkins, belts it hard. She will sink the nose, but Ariane got the exact wave that we said she kind of didn't need to get, just that one sort of section that's dying out. By contrast, that was the runner. That was the wave, really, that Ariane Ochoa needed. It was a quick one. And she does have a chance to get priority again here, so maybe after a little slip, Yolanda won't be able to add to her score. She went incomplete, so it's kind of got off that a little bit because a bit of an error to use the priority on that wave there from Ariane.
Yeah, but still, you know, really difficult to read those beach breaks, especially in small conditions. You got the low tide, you think that the first wave of the set is the best, and it comes out that the second one is way better. I think for Ariane, it's a good thing Yolanda didn't make that turn because that was, you know, hit winner.
Lost it on the bottom turn, it looked like a little bit because that she was on her way to smashing that. I mean, how many times have we seen her hit that close up? But it looked like she almost just lost a little grip on the bottom turn and it put her a little lip into the lip there, but that's uncharacteristic from her.
But there are a few bumps created by this rip also on the bottom turn of the wave, so they should take attention from where those waves are forming. If they come from the northwest, it might give them a nice open face wave. If it comes from the middle, from the west, it might be interesting more in the middle of the beach on the right-hander. And then if the set comes from the southwest, it should be a closeout. So they should pay attention from where to the direction of those sets.
Beautiful view there of pretty much the very bottom corner of Anglet. You see the the lighthouse, which kind of marks the difference between Anglet and Biarritz, if I'm right.
Yes, you're right. You know that.
In the background, we can see La Rune and the mountains of the Pyrenees as they meet the coast and head down towards the border with Spain.
Exactly, and the river of Fontarabie.
And something of an overcast, cloudy Saturday. For the weather we've had this summer, everyone's actually kind of stoked. This is like, a cloudy day, thank you. Just a little bit of relief from just relentless heat. I think tomorrow it's jumping up again into the 30s, mid-30s. The heat's coming back, but today we're just a little bit of a chance to breathe.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw like people dancing in the rain this summer with like probably 2 rains in a matter of 3 months. So it's a big change for this region. Usually so green and beautiful, and it's a drought in France, and here no difference. It's we're lacking those rain, but I'm sure it's gonna come back strong at us with a vengeance.
Yeah, we'll get 2 months of it. Yeah.
In the next 2 months. All right, and Yolanda again getting busy, trying to really do more damage, which she won't do on that tiny little right. 14 minutes remaining, still in the lead, and Ariane is still looking for 5.85, which is not a huge requirement. She can do easily that on a single turn, but then she needs that set wave, really. That we said it since the beginning of the day.
She wants to keep the rhythm and forcing a little bit too much this turn on this tiny wave. But the most important, she wants to keep this fighting spirit, the rhythm, and
The other thing, of course, if you're just catching waves from under your opponent's priority, particularly you've got the lead and you can afford to do that anyway, you're not just sitting there kind of getting inside your own head and overthinking things, you're just surfing. I mean, we always say that people surf their best in the heat when they're just free surfing and being natural. And if you're just constantly paddling, catching waves and surfing them, you'll have that kind of rhythm that you would typically have when you go out and surf. Like, these surfers at this level aren't used to going to free surf and just sitting there and not catching waves. They're generally speaking, when they're free surfing, they're busy all the time. And so another thing in the favour of Yolanda is she's surfing a little more like she would naturally do so. For Ariane, she's got to sit there and that score that she needs, okay, 5.85, all these things going through her head, and it's tough to deal with that kind of stuff.
and the ocean is constantly moving. And if you stay too much static, sometimes you go against the element. And it's clearly the game plan of Yolanda, staying active in the rhythm.
I do like the wry smile from Ariane. That's a bit of a trademark of her. She has that expression, whether winning, losing, whether things are going well or not. Just that kind of wry grimace.
Poker face.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. She's
Is that a smile? Or
yeah, it's somewhere between the two. But she's always going to be competitive, never going to give up. Like we mentioned, very well coached, a great surfer as well. That's how she's in the final. And, you know, we're talking about the lead of Yolanda and how the energy is with her. The numbers are still low, right? Yolanda's still in single figures for 2 ways out of 20. So plenty of opportunity for Ariane Ochoa with just under 12 on the clock. But at some stage, with a bit of a lull and time ticking away, that time pressure will start to add as well on the surfer chasing the score.
Yeah, to reflect also on what Romain was saying, the tide range has increased from the beginning of the week. We were really with a flat tide range Monday, Tuesday, and now we're getting more of a big difference between low and right, and that affects by the minute, nearly every 30 minutes that sandbank will deliver different wave, different angle of wave. So you really got to adapt and choosing position at the beginning and the heat might not be the perfect positioning by the end of it.
Yeah, and when the frequency of the waves gets lower, of course, when there's only 11 minutes in this heat, it's really stressful for the surfer position in the second place.
So just under 11 to go in this Hopkins still with the lead. Ariane Ochoa with a bit of work left as yet in front of her. But as we mentioned, there aren't hugely significant numbers. And she's just got to back herself, really, try and stay confident and wait for those opportunities to come through. In some ways, the task is made slightly easier for the fact that she knows she needs a little bit of quality, mid-range scores, so wait for sets, try and find some decent opportunities to come through and provide her with a chance to possibly go all the way for a big win here in Anglet. And while we enjoy this women's final, we'll just pick out a little reposition here. Ariane Ochoa does have prio. Let's see if she'll use it here. I think she might. And a good chance to get back into this heat here. Here goes our surfer out of the Basque Country with a big hit on the backhand. Just overextended it slightly, and she really needed to make that. She'll go incomplete. Something of a missed opportunity or hand priority back to Yolanda Hopkins. Let's welcome Victoria Vergara into the studio to help us talk through the women's final. How are you doing, Victoria?
Good, thank you. How are you? Thank you for having me.
How are you enjoying, first of all, the contest here in Anglet, but today as well, you enjoying the action?
Yes, so much action's going on. I mean, final days. That's exciting.
You've been hanging down here as part of the Ripco team, of course, sponsoring this event. Been impressed with the level of the surfing from the boys and girls?
Yeah. I mean, everyone is ripping. The conditions seems a bit tough and tricky, but they managed to show some good surf. I mean, there is some good score coming up from the girls and the boys. So yeah, it's a real show, and I'm happy to be watching it.
Well, it's been finishing off a really, really fun week. Just a little dial back in the energy from the waves today, but absolutely no reduction in the competitive intensity, certainly from this woman here, Yolanda Hopkins. Just relentless. It's a softer wave, though. There's not loads of points on offer, that nevertheless she will squeeze absolutely every last drop out that Archie. That's classic, really, from Yolanda. That's what we've come to expect.
Yeah, she's trying to increase on her backup, and but then she's, as we said, trying to stay busy as much as she can. The priority is back to Ariane. She had a good opportunity, Ariane, on that good-looking right. Unfortunately, getting unstuck, not completing a maneuver. There was a set wave. It's exactly what she needed to overtake Yolanda. Unfortunately, not completing, a crucial turn.
So no mistakes from her, making sure she gets a completion as well. And just pushing really hard, pretty much on the limit of what these waves can offer.
Yeah, technically the work there is like spot on from Yolanda, really well prepared for this kind of contest surfing in small waves. It never gets that hard. It's always easier to show your surfing in bigger conditions. These are tricky and really technical. Don't know what you think, Victoria, about the level of surfing of Yolanda, but it's
I think it's really impressive, and the waves are really tricky. There is many waves coming, but it's hard to find the good one and the one that's gonna open up but still have the power. So I think that's why all the girls are like taking many waves. But yeah, I mean it's really impressive what they're doing out there.
And how about you? How's your summer going? It's been a nice warm one. We haven't had loads of waves here. You've been traveling. What have you been up to?
Yeah, so I was the months of July where we really had like really good waves and find some really good spot, and then travel a little bit to California, and then I just came back 10 days ago, and yeah, I mean there is few waves for sure. The weather is not as great as expecting, but
you've been finding yourself some long lefts up in Senos?
Exactly, yep, somewhere up north.
I was watching your hit in California and get that close call from with the pier.
Yeah, that was scary. I actually broke my board doing the turtle duck dive that we're doing in longboard. My board broke in my hands, and I ended up swimming through the piers, and that was a nice adventure.
Good. So we got a nice wave from Ariane. She got like a couple of turns. So judges will be seeing the replay, will be thinking of that the scoring they will give to the Portuguese in red, because it's two Portuguese, and Is that enough for a 6.2, you reckon, Paul and Victoria? We see the replay on screen. Smaller wave, first turn was a bit weak, bit of a better, but well, she's...
Yeah, the face expression.
Yeah, face expression probably tells the story.
It's going to feel a lot better from her. That's the first kind of legit combo she's been able to put down in this in 25 minutes or so of surfing. So just it's going to feel, certainly from her point of view, give her a little more confidence. The 387 comes in, so just gets a marginal improvement really on her high score, and still searching for that 6.2.
Yeah, she has priority, so I think she's gonna wait for the set wave, and yeah, she can definitely do the 620. So just gotta be patient and having a bit of luck on the good waves coming.
Yeah, she needs to find that wave enabling to just to go vertical, but because that flat turns, you know, won't cut it. It's gonna keep her in the 3 or 4 point range, and she needs, you know, something above 6 absolutely to take the win here in Anglet. With 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, an anxious look at the horizon. She's probably praying to have something to play with.
Yeah, really, so far, there's not loads to separate these two. If you take out that 617 from Yolanda, she smashed that wave. Other than that, it's been kind of similar kind of quality waves, and not wildly dissimilar sort of surfing as well, but just that one real flash of quality allows the judges to sort of use the scale, and that puts quite a significant gulf between these two at the moment. That's 6-2 for Ariane. With priority right now, 4 on the clock, you're probably going to think her next wave is going to be crucial. She does need to be patient, but at the same time, only got 4 minutes left. Don't be too patient.
I know for Ariane, the time is like running, and for Yolanda, it must be super slow. It's always depends on which position you have in the heat, but.
And the aerial view is interesting because it shows you how difficult it is to read the lineup. It's a mix of wind swell, a bit of lingering long period swell. We had this yesterday, so plenty of balls and options, but no clean read on the lineup. Here an important way for Ariane. She needs to do something big there. That's way better, unfortunately. Yeah.
That could have been the opportunity right there.
Yeah.
Just gets one maneuver away. It wasn't super convincing. And she's unable to really commit the body throughout the turn. She's almost kind of pulled the turn a little short and just came out of it with significantly less speed. And then sometimes you get another little section double up, and that just had a crumble bit of white water. And she could kind of tell there wasn't much coming down the line, and just kind of reflected in her body language, really.
Yeah, that was definitely a good opportunity for her. Just bit late on that second section. It was hard to get that speed over that section. Did well to verticalize her surfing, but that probably won't be enough for a win today.
Well, let's see how she goes. 2.5 minutes on the clock. It's a very short paddle back. Priorities with Yolanda Hopkins. Sets coming through there. One thing we do know about Yolanda, even if she's got priority, she'll probably take a wave if she likes the look of it, because she'll back herself to improve her own score. We saw that in the first semi-final. So possibly, if we get a multiple wave set, maybe an opportunity for Ariane. She'll go this one here. She'll have a little look at it and realises that one's just cornering away. And if there's a surfer on either side of the draw, men or women, that you kind of wouldn't want to have priority over you and the lead in the last minute or so of a heat, I'm voting for Yolanda Hopkins. She's just relentless.
Yeah, really a body of energy. She really produces her own energy where it's lacking in the wave. It's probably what made the difference today. We're in that final where she really, yesterday she was feeding from the wave energy, just matching the 4 foot or 5 foot wave. Today she just changed and really produced that own energy, and it's paying off.
Just 80 seconds to go in this one. Ochoa still chasing that 6-2. And right now it does feel quite a long way away, unable to break out the threes thus far. Nevertheless, she will look back if she does end up as a runner-up on a brilliant performance, really. I mean, second place in the QS 3000 is a great result for her. Let's just watch this last set come through.
For the last minute.
Let's see if Yolanda will use the priority on this first wave. She will. So possibly out the back, an opportunity for Ariane. Wow, that was a really nice turn. Just the one maneuver, though. Might not be a huge improvement, if any, on her backup score. Let's see what Ariane can do with 40 on the clock. Is there going to be a wave come her way? There she is.
Yeah.
It's all going to come down to this. Well, the score did go up. She now needs a 7-3. Wow. Oh, it's a really nice second turn. But just prior to that, the score came in, and we got a 5 for Yolanda. She improved the backup. And I didn't see a 7-3 for Ariane Ochoa. And it looks like it's going to be Yolanda Hopkins, our champion of the Rip Curl Pro Anglet.
Yeah, well deserved. She's doing well, increasing her score on that single turn. That's what the judges wanted to see all week, and she managed to find that gem on the dying second of the heat, making sure she got the win. Just strong surfing, good control, well surf, and fully deserved win for Yolanda.
Really enjoyable final, hotly contested. Hopkins just driving home that advantage. And Ariane Ochoa rallied pretty well with this. Nice combination from her. She just needed more like that and was a little unlucky in terms of opportunity. Nevertheless, runner-up, a great finish. Congratulations to Yolanda Hopkins. She is your champion of the Rip Curl Pro Anglet 2022. A second win of the summer. She won over in Newquay, in Cornwall. And she loves it. Congratulations. Muito parabéns, Yolanda.
Well deserved. Good surfing all week for sure.
That's going to wrap up our women's final. And it's been a really fun one. Victoria, just quickly, what's coming up for you? What's your plans? Hanging around, surfing around here, going traveling?
Yes, I think I might watch the finals in Trishul anytime soon. So yeah, hanging here for a little bit and then probably going to California.
That doesn't sound too bad. Great stuff. Thanks for coming in for the final.
Thank you.
So Yolanda Hopkins there, a big smile on her, darling. She'll make her way up the beach. And very, very impressive indeed, getting a big win in the QS 3000. She mentioned at the top of the season, it's crucial for her to get these performances and results, Archie, in the bigger events, in the QS 3000s, where it counts, where you can do the most damage in terms of points for the